When the House resumed, Vice Chairman K. Rahman Khan asked for the papers to be laid on the table, and this was done amid noisy scenes. Vice Chairman also allowed mention of several issues related to public importance. While Dr. Gyan Prakash Pilania pointed the lack of hospitals in the country, Motilal Vora highlighted the need of starting Rajghat plant for Bhilai steel plant. Tarun Vijay spoke about community forests. Maya Singh raised the issue of availability of fertilizers for the farmers. Dr. E.M. Sudarshan spoke about the need for a package for NTC mill of Coimbatore. P.J. Kurun wanted centre's intervention on the Mulla Periyar Dam issue. A. Rajan raised the issue of better facilities during rail travel, and Kalraj Mishra pointed to the problem of tax evasion. But with no let-up in the uproar in the House, Deputy Chairman adjourned the proceedings of the House for the day. With Arvind Kumar Singh, Kriti Mishra, Rajyasabha TV, Delhi.
Meanwhile, UPA allies have refused to toe the government line after meeting of UPA allies with the Prime Minister on Thursday. Trinamool Congress leader Sudeep Bandyopadhyay said that allies are not going to step back from their demand of a complete withdrawal of FDI in the retail sector.
सुदीप जी, प्रधानमंत्री से आपकी मुलाकात हुई है, क्या प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा और क्या आपकी तरफ से उनको बताया गया?
ये सर्वदलीय बैठक हुए थे, नहीं सर्वदलीय नहीं, एलिस पार्टीज का बैठक। हम लोगों ने कहा कि प्रणब बाबू जब बुलाए थे ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग, उसमें उन्होंने जो कहा था, हम लोग जहाँ कहा था, आज ऐसा ही कहा कि विथड्रॉ एफडीआई फ्रॉम रिटेल।
प्रधानमंत्री की तरफ से कुछ तर्क दिए गए होंगे, आप उन तर्कों से सहमत नहीं हैं?
नहीं, प्रधानमंत्री जी कहा कि देश का आर्थिक स्थिति जैसा है इसमें इसका ज़रूरत है। हम लोगों ने हमारे बात कहे कि गरीब किसान, खेती मजदूर, बहुत छोटे दुकानदार, ये सब लोगों के लिए कौन सोचेंगे। ये हमारे पार्टी का तरफ से प्रधानमंत्री के पास हम लोगों ने अनुरोध रखा कि हर समय पर सरकार की बातें हम लोग सुनते हैं, एक बार एलिस पार्टीज को बातें सरकार सुन लिया जाए तो सबसे अच्छा होगा। हम लोग ये सरकार के पार्टनर भी आए, सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट पार्टी।
तृणमूल कांग्रेस की एक शिकायत रही है कि पेट्रोल प्राइसेस की बात हो या एफडीआई का सवाल हो कि अलाइज पार्टनर्स से सलाह मशवरा किए बिना इस तरह के बड़े फैसले सरकार ले रही है। इस मीटिंग के अंदर क्या प्रधानमंत्री ने कोई एश्योरेंस आपको दिया कि आइंदा कोई भी फैसला आप लोगों से बिना बातचीत किए नहीं लिया जाएगा?
यस, उन्होंने आज बहुत दिल खुल के कहा है कि सब मैकेनिज्म चालू करना चाहिए, जैसे ये सहयोगी दलों का साथ एक रेगुलर बैठक का ज़रूरत है। ये हमारे बहुत सारे दिनों का डिमांड थे। ये प्रधानमंत्री हम लोगों का मीटिंग शुरू होने का पहले ही बता दिया।
एक बड़ा सवाल आ रहा है कि अगर डिवीज़न होता है हाउस में इस मुद्दे के ऊपर, एफडीआई के ऊपर, तो तृणमूल कांग्रेस का क्या स्टैंड होगा?
वो कब होगा वो हम लोग निश्चित नहीं है कि आदो वो एटॉल होगा कि नहीं होगा। तो वो 7 तारीख का बाद जब पार्लियामेंट फिर खुलेगा तब सोचेगा, लेकिन हमारे दावे से हम लोग हटता नहीं।
All right, let's get in our correspondent Girish Nikam for more on this. Girish, looking at today's development, what can be expected in Parliament tomorrow? We just heard Sudeep Bandyopadhyay over there talking about FDI and his party's stand. That's very, very important for the government to take into consideration the major allies and what they think on FDI.
Absolutely, Sana. See, the fact of the matter is that government has not been able to convince its own allies, and that's why we are seeing this stalemate continuing in Parliament during the second week also. I don't think there will be any possibility of proceedings happening very smoothly tomorrow, because the government is yet to convince its own allies. It is, as far as the government is concerned, Pranab Mukherjee had told the members of Congress party yesterday that we don't mind facing an adjournment motion.
Right.
But the problem is that they can't face an adjournment motion unless and until they are very sure about their own numbers. So the fact that they are not very sure of their own numbers, and today's meeting with the Prime Minister of the Allies has not yielded the results which they thought it would yield, means that, this stalemate will continue right into the next week.
Absolutely. Girish, do stay with us. I'm going to come back to you in just a bit. Let's just tell our viewers how the Lokpal Standing Committee report is much awaited and the final draft is almost ready. Standing Committee Chairman Abhishek Manu Singhvi says that though the report is almost in its final stages, there are several differences that still exist within the committee. He said the report will be tabled within the next 10 days in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in spite of these differences. Girish, coming back to you now, the Lokpal the Standing Committee's draft of the Lokpal Bill is one more important issue, and we are expecting that to come up in the Parliament very, very soon. If you could just enlighten us a bit on what to expect on that front.
See, the Standing Committee report is expected next week, anytime next week, and the chairman of the committee, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, has been pretty frank in saying that there are differences. There are bound to be dissent notes from various parties, especially the left parties, the BJP, and a couple of other parties which are represented in the Standing Committee. So this means that there has been no unanimity on many of the issues which we have been hearing about, discussing about, as far as the Lokpal Bill is concerned. So it's now up to the government really, because once the Standing Committee report is presented, then it goes to the Parliament. It goes to the Law Ministry, it goes to the Home Ministry, it goes to the, and then finally it comes before the Cabinet. So, the government, when it comes before the Cabinet will have to take note of all the dissent notes and then see that if they can evolve some kind of a compromise depending on what it thinks is most feasible.
Okay.
You should also remember that the Standing Committee report is not the final thing. The government is not bound by it. It's not mandatory for the government to accept the Standing Committee report in its entirety. So the government, the cabinet can have its own view, and if it takes note of all the dissent and then tweaks the report and comes out with some kind of a bill which is acceptable to everybody, then we may have a Lokpal bill which will be accepted. Otherwise, we are going to be.
We have to wait for a long time ahead. That's right, Girish.
No, we'll see much more trouble in the coming days.
Okay, Girish Nikam, thanks so much for joining us and getting us all those details. In fact, let's just move on. Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment tabled written replies on issues ranging from review of the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act to bills regarding reservation in the private sector. The queries were answered by Minister D. Napoleon in the Rajya Sabha on Thursday. Here's a report.
There is no proposal under consideration of government for SC and ST reservation bill in private sector. The information was provided by Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, D. Napoleon, to the Rajya Sabha in a written reply. The minister, however, said that a dialogue with industry for affirmative action in private sector was being taken forward. A high-level committee formed for the purpose has been holding talks with apex trade bodies. He said these organizations have developed their own code for adoption by their members. The minister informed the House that comprehensive amendment to the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 was under consideration. Minister was responding to a specific question in context with the April 21, 2010 Mirchpur case in which 3 people have been awarded life sentences. The minister also informed the House about NGOs working for the welfare of scheduled castes, disabled women in 5 states, and grants given to each NGO from 2008 to 2010. 3 major schemes were listed under which the ministry releases grant in aid to NGOs. The grant in aid to voluntary organizations working for scheduled castes, Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme, and Scheme of Assistance to Disabled Persons for purchase or fitting of aids appliances. The minister informed the House that grant in aid to NGOs as well as NGO-wise and category-wise details for the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh will be compiled and laid on the table of the House. Responding to another question, the minister said that financial assistance for hostels for scheduled castes, other backward class students is considered as and when received from state governments. Budget allocation was listed under 2 schemes and funds released thereunder. While 145 crore rupees were allocated under Babu Jagjeevan Ram Chhatravas Yojana, 8.81 crore rupees were released out of 45 crore rupees allocated for hostels for other backward classes. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And more in Rajya Sabha, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or the DGCA, has taken steps to ensure that the interests of passengers are protected. Minister of Civil Aviation Vayala Ravi informed the Rajya Sabha in a written reply today.
Airfares for domestic airlines in the country are determined by market forces and not by the government. The minister informed the upper house that the framework for regulation of airfares is governed by the Aircraft Rules 1937, which lays down principles for transparency and tariff publication by airlines. Regulatory steps by the government include the following. All domestic airlines have to display established fares route-wise and category-wise on their websites, have to notify any significant and noticeable changes within 24 hours of effect. A tariff analysis unit has been set up to monitor tariffs. It is commendable that the DGCA has not noted any significant hike in fares beyond the fare band communicated to it by airlines, the minister added in reply to a question by Muhammad Ali Khan. In reply to another question by D. Raja and R.C. Singh, the minister informed the House that the civil aviation industry in the country is going through a difficult situation with most airlines, including the national carrier Air India, running in loss. During 2009 and 2010, Air India ran a loss of Rs 5,552.44 crore. Kingfisher ran a loss of 1,239.30 crore. Jet Airways lost 467.6 crore, while Go Air lost Rs 65.5 crore. The government is formulating sector-specific policies to enable growth of the civil aviation industry in order to meet global standards. Some steps being taken by the ministry are 100% FDI permitted in greenfield airports, relaxed procedure for establishment of private airports, private domestic airlines permitted to fly on overseas routes, regular upgradation of infrastructure, navigation and air traffic control, regular amendment of regulations as per international standards, and establishment of an independent regulatory authority to create healthy competition among major airports. The minister also assured the House that the government had no plans of an aviation sector bailout. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's all for the day in Rajya Sabha News. Stay tuned on the other side for more updates and programming. Goodbye.